Gotcha.
You'd be shocked at how many of these kids like dedicated to hockey cannot play catch. They can't throw and catch a ball.
Okay.
You know? And
so are you an advocate of like a multi-sport
100%,
athlete?
100%.
And you feel like as a multi-sport athlete, that will help them in the sports that they, I guess, want to focus on if hockey is that one sport that they
Absolutely.
want to focus on? What does an effective off-season training program look like for a hockey player?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a pain in the ass about these questions because we have to be specific about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for a lot of these things, it's just they are complicated topics.
Sure, yeah.
So like if someone says, "How do I improve my shot?" It's just not a good question because it's just so non-specific. I don't know how to answer you, right? So so for the off-season stuff, again, we have to specify what age. So if I'm talking, people ask me this about like when they're pre-puberty again. If you are doing resistance training when you're before puberty, you don't have the hormones yet to get the benefit of the resistance training to a large degree. So that doesn't mean don't do it. That doesn't mean you can never do it, because there's something to be said for learn movement patterns, learn coordination, learn how to navigate the gym, like learn how to be in there and just be in the environment. All that stuff is good. But in terms of what's the best result you're going to get if you're before puberty, then if you do resistance training stuff, which most people don't, but if you were to, you're not really going to get the benefit. So I think,
and I can't imagine like a 10-year-old kid like wanted to like, hey man, let's hit the bench.
No, it's more the parents that ask though. It's more the parents that are,
you get a lot of parents asking about like actually working out.
Oh yeah. Like
are you serious?
Yeah, because people ask me all the time, can my kid come train with you in the off season? I'm like, how old is he? And they'll say,
like, what
12.
do you mean train? Like at the gym?
Yeah, at the gym. Yeah.
No way, man.
And
are you serious?
For some of them, they'll say, can we do like speed ladders or can we do body weight or whatever?
Wow.
And stuff like this. And I'm like, you're gonna come pay me? You want to come pay me the price for your 12-year-old? And I'll just say like, you can actually you can't with me, because you can find someone that will do that, but this is what you want to invest your money in. So anyways,
wow, I didn't realize that there was such like a thing for that.
yeah, there is. Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time. But and
wow.
part of it might be they're crazy, and part of it is they genuinely probably just don't know. They don't know when and what to do. So my thing is always you start with the foundation stuff. So if I'm going into my off season and let's say I'm 15 years old or 16 years old, that's about the time where kids start to figure out the gym. I don't know when it would have been for you. Like I was probably around grade 8, grade 9.
Oh, I was older than that.
Were you?
Yeah, big time. I was more like like late high school, early out of it. Yeah.
So because I started boxing in grade 7, which would have been like 12.
Okay.
And then that was kind of the gym.
Gotcha.
And then by grade 9, I was like doing resistance training now.
I'm talking about like pure in the gym weights.
Yeah.
So it was older for me.
Yeah. So
late teens, like earliest for me.
Yeah. So earliest I would say for people to get in the gym to do resistance stuff is when they're in puberty. So whatever that age is that you start to hit puberty, it's noticeable. Okay. Then it's like that's when you're gonna start to get the bang for your buck in the gym.
Gotcha.
And then you can totally go do bodybuilder style off-season program to start, because you don't have any muscle development yet.
Yeah.
You got to get your bone density up. You got to get your muscle bellies full. You have to be stronger. You have to be, you need that growth. You need that time under tension, so to speak, of actually growing. So foundationally, that stuff is fine. Whereas if I get a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, well, now we're changing things up. So to answer your question, the typical off season, there's two elements. It's going to be your on ice and your off ice. So your off ice, heavier on the off ice at the beginning of your off season, and then you kind of do a flip flop as you get towards the season, which makes sense. Okay. So when guys come back, let's say if we have like 4 months to work with, I might give if it's the end of the season, it'd be 5. I'll give guys like 2 weeks of nothing, where it's just take a break, man. Yeah. And this would be for guys that are serious hockey players. Now I'm not talking about the 13-year-old kid. I'm talking about a 16-year-old that's around the draft. They want to play junior. They're getting serious or older. So this would be guys that come to me from Division I that are 21, 22. This is what I would say to them. So your 2 weeks off, just relax, let your body heal, do your active rest kind of thing. Yeah. So that can be you're playing golf, you're going for walks, you're doing yoga, you're something where you're moving, you're not just sitting on the couch eating like crap and all this. Yeah. So but take 2 weeks off of hockey. Then from the on ice perspective, anything you do on the ice for the first 2 months would be like slow pace, individual skills, working on tightening up like things you need to refine from a personal skill set perspective. Okay. So it could be some light skating, light shooting, light stick handling, but everything's light, not super damaging where you need that recovery time. towards the end of the summer, so by let's say July into August, now you're up to your 3-4 times a week on the ice. Now we're starting to pick up intensity. Now we're starting to do conditioning where we're getting ready for the season of September, let's say.
Okay.
For the gym side of it, I always kind of do the phase like this. You start with a growth phase. So it would be at least 4 weeks of what you would say hypertrophy or muscle growth. Then you take that new muscle tissue you've built and you make it stronger. So you do a strength phase of some sort. And then you would start to turn into sport specific. So towards the end of summer, this again would be your July, August. It's like now we're getting into more dynamic movements that look like hockey, movements that look like skating. You're trying to mimic things that are happening on the ice. And then you get your conditioning in. This is where you get your hill days in. You go to the track and those kinds of things. So generally speaking, that's what I would say.
Gotcha.
If you have a specific need, so if you're a kid who just is not fast enough, then maybe for the entire off season, you have elements of track work, sprint work, skating, posture, mechanic stuff layered in there. And that's where the individualization comes in.
Interesting.
But generally speaking, it's like, let's grow, then let's get stronger, then let's condition that for my sport. And that would be phased over, let's say, a 4-month, 5-month off season.
Interesting.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
So that's I see that for more, correct me if I'm wrong, like an older, mature player.
Right. Correct.
If let's talk about kids like under the puberty threshold, is there an off season for them?
No.
Okay.
No. My thing is I shouldn't say that. It's learn how to be an athlete. So play sports.
Gotcha.
Do things that are active. Go mess around in the gym. Like that. If you're 11-year-old, if you're a dad or a mom that really is into working out, and the kid wants to come with you to the gym and mess around, and you have a trainer bar they can use and a kettlebell or whatever, let them mess around, man. Try to teach them something or whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
Let them do other things though.
Gotcha.
You'd be shocked at how many of these kids like dedicated to hockey cannot play catch. They can't throw and catch a ball.
Okay.
And
so are you an advocate of like a multi-sport
100%,
athlete?
100%.
And you feel like as a multi-sport athlete, that will help them in the sports that they, I guess, want to focus on, if hockey is that one sport that they want to focus on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So here
there is some studies on this showing that this does translate into a better athlete overall, and specifically even in the sport that you want to focus in on.
Yeah. So I think it was a Malcolm Gladwell book that I read. It wasn't Outliers, one of his newer ones, where he talked about this, like early specialization.
Okay.
And he went through several examples where most people that try to do the early specialization thing are no better off than the other person. And it was a really interesting book. I'm blanking on the name of it. Oh, it's called Range, I think. That's what it's called.
Okay.
And he talked about this more with a research framework, which is interesting.